Did Eunwoo finally beat Jungkook? Korea stunned as Saturday Preacher skyrockets after one TikTok. Media calls it the golden magne effect. How does a single 12-second TikTok shake an entire nation's music charts overnight? How can one casual clip filmed under soft studio lighting send reporters scrambling, fandoms spiraling, and chart analytics teams rechecking their numbers until dawn? And the question everyone is whispering, could Cha Eunwoo really have surpassed Jungkook, even if only for a moment, in the most unexpected plot twist of 2025? These were the headlines dominating Korean entertainment media this week, after a TikTok featuring Jungkook and Cha Eunwoo ignited a chain reaction no one predicted, no one controlled, and no one is finished discussing. Because when something involves Jungkook, history has taught us one thing: nothing stays small. Engagement doesn't stay modest. Metrics don't stay stable. And no idol, no matter how popular, stays untouched by what journalists have now officially named, with both awe and resignation, the golden magne effect. And this time, that effect didn't just cause a spike. It created a musical earthquake centered around Cha Eunwoo's song Saturday Preacher, a track that had been performing steadily but modestly until Jungkook stepped into the frame. But how did this happen? Why did one TikTok turn into a cultural event? And most importantly, does this sudden explosion mean Eunwoo has truly defeated Jungkook, or does it simply prove Jungkook's power more than ever? To understand the shock, the speculation, and the emotional wave now sweeping the K-pop world, we have to go back to the moment the video dropped, an innocent, playful clip that detonated like a digital firework across every platform within minutes. The posting itself felt almost too casual for the storm it unleashed. Jungkook in a black tee, Eunwoo in an effortlessly perfect gray hoodie, both positioned as if this was nothing more than a lighthearted dance challenge between friends. No polished choreography, no cinematic lighting, no grand promotional strategy. Just two of Korea's most visually elite men in a frame, smiling, matching steps, vibing with a confidence that didn't need to be announced. But maybe that's why the clip exploded. Because authenticity, when delivered by two faces already crowned by global fandoms, hits harder than any high-budget concept. Within the first 10 minutes, TikTok comments flooded with disbelief. Was this real? Was this spontaneous? How long had they practiced? Who initiated this? Why does their chemistry look so effortless? Why does Eunwoo look both relaxed and sharper than usual? Did Jungkook rehearse, or did he just show up and dominate the rhythm the way he always does? Even before fans finished analyzing the angle of Eunwoo's smile or the bounce in Jungkook's movements, the algorithm had already sensed something monumental. The video jumped from thousands to millions of views as though carried by a force no platform could contain. And that was only the beginning. Because the real shockwave didn't hit TikTok. IT hit the charts, somewhere between the second and third hour. After the video surfaced, data trackers noticed something strange. Cha Eunwoo's Saturday Preacher, which had been rotating comfortably but quietly among mid-level digital rankings, began climbing with a pace analysts called unnatural. Not slow and steady, not typical post-promo growth, but a vertical shot. Suddenly, the song doubled its melon streams, then tripled, then quadrupled before dawn to be by the 7th hour. Korean media published the first wave of headlines, many sounding almost disbelieving, as if journalists were watching a phenomenon unfold in real time and could not quite commit to explaining it. Articles questioned whether this was an algorithm glitch or a natural surge. But as more data confirmed the spike, broadcasters changed tone. This wasn't a glitch. This wasn't luck. This was Jungkook. The golden magne effect had struck again. Music critics immediately drew parallels to previous moments when Jungkook unintentionally changed the trajectory of another artist's content simply by appearing in proximity. Whenever Jungkook is part of a trend, a challenge, a meme, or even a background cameo, numbers behave differently. They rise faster, spread wider, last longer. And this time, Eunwoo was the beneficiary, but here's the twist that dominated conversations the entire night. If Eunwoo's song soared because of Jungkook, then why did so many headlines frame it as Eunwoo beating Jungkook? The answer lies in the psychological tension of ranking culture, the fascination with upsets, plot twists, and moments that defy expectations, even temporarily. Fans love a story, and Korean media knows this better than anyone, because at one point, brief but historic, Saturday Preacher overtook Jungkook's own track on a real-time chart during the surge. It lasted only minutes, but screenshots immortalized it. Fans captured timestamps, circled the positions in red, zoomed in, zoomed out, reposted with disbelief and excitement. And suddenly, Twitter, no, X, became a battlefield of interpretations. Did Eunwoo defeat Jungkook? Did Jungkook help him surpass Jungkook? Was this a win for Eunwoo, a win for Jungkook, or a win for the friendship fans had dreamed of for years? Or was this simply a reminder of Jungkook's unmatched influence, an influence so massive that helping others chart higher was now an effortless side effect? The narrative split the internet into three emotional camps, each defending their version of the truth, each posting receipts, edits, and theories as though preparing for a televised trial. Some argued Eunwoo deserved every view, pointing to his hard work, his vocals, his evolving artistry. Others emphasized Jungkook's power, insisting the rise proved his status as a global trigger for virality. And another group simply adored seeing the two interact, caring less about numbers and more about the rare visual harmony that brought together two of Korea's most admired faces. Meanwhile, media outlets began using phrases like accidental promotion, organic lift, and viral chemistry. But the term that stuck, the one that appeared in nearly every headline, was the same term used since Jungkook was 17, the golden magne effect. And this time, the effect didn't just shine. It reflected. It amplified. It created a mutual glow that placed Eunwoo in a spotlight he had never experienced at this scale. But beneath all the celebration, a deeper question simmered. What does this mean for their careers? For their reputations? For their future? Could this unexpected viral moment push Eunwoo into a new artistic era? Will Jungkook continue to unintentionally shift the industry every time he participates in a trend? And will fans see more of them together? Or was this lightning strike a rare, fleeting gift? What made the moment even more compelling was the emotional undercurrent detected in fan reactions. Many felt proud of Eunwoo for receiving a massive boost that didn't overshadow his talent, but instead highlighted it. Many felt emotional seeing Jungkook effortlessly lift another artist without trying, showcasing generosity and unspoken support. And others felt deeply curious, almost anxious, about where this sudden burst of attention would lead. Because virality changes everything. Virality rewrites expectations. Virality can create an entirely new chapter. And now, the world watches closely. Is this Eunwoo's turning point? Is this a new era of mutual idol collaborations? Or is this the beginning of a larger narrative between two stars who never meant to shake the digital sphere but did so anyway, simply by dancing together? The truth is still unfolding. The story is far from over, and the questions keep growing stronger. But the night did not stop with chart spikes and shocked reporters. If anything, the real intrigue began after midnight, when analytics teams started releasing more precise data that made the situation even stranger, even harder to explain, and even more irresistible for anyone following the story. The climb of Saturday Preacher wasn't just strong. It wasn't just sudden. It behaved like something triggered by a cultural event rather than a typical viral challenge. Why? Because people weren't just watching the TikTok. They were replaying it. They were pausing it. They were screen recording it, converting it into loops, slowing down the moments when Jungkook leans slightly toward Eunwoo, speeding up the part where Eunwoo breaks into a half smile after missing a beat. It wasn't just a dance. It was a piece of evidence, a fragment of a larger chemistry fans couldn't fully explain but desperately wanted to decode. Every frame felt intentional, even if it wasn't. Every gesture felt symbolic, even though the clip was casual. And every second felt like it carried a story the public wasn't supposed to see. Was this a planned moment between two rising legends? Or were fans simply witnessing lightning strike by accident? The fascination grew. Reporters from Dispatch, Sports News, and Star Today released late-night commentary questioning the timing of the video. Why that day? Why that song? Why now? at a moment when both idols were navigating different personal and professional transitions. Was the timing coincidence or something orchestrated behind the scenes? The public didn't know, the media didn't know, and the silence from both agencies only stoked the flames, because while fans celebrated, analysts noticed something more subtle happening. The TikTok didn't just boost Eunwoo's song. It shifted the entire online conversation structure around both idols. Jungkook-related keywords, which normally stand atop trending charts effortlessly, began merging with Eunwoo's name. Searches for Jungkook and Eunwoo TikTok overtook both individual names for hours. Reaction videos poured in from creators worldwide, from Los Angeles to Manila to Dubai. Professional dancers started breaking down their movements. Actors commented on their synergy. Vocals coaches speculated whether this chemistry could translate into a musical collaboration. Even journalists used words like unprecedented, unexplainable, and fascinatingly organic. And if that wasn't enough, a larger question emerged, one that no one wanted to ask openly, but everyone whispered in private. Was this the first sign of a new era in K-pop? An era where casual cross-group interactions reshaped the entire entertainment economy. Because if one TikTok could lift a song into the global spotlight, what would happen if idols started doing this more intentionally? What if collaborations weren't promotional strategies, but natural interactions? What if the walls between fandoms began to blur? But even as these big questions hung in the air, another narrative, equally emotional, began forming among fans. It centered not on the numbers, not on the charts, not on the metrics, but on the boys themselves. People began asking, how did Jungkook and Eunwoo feel about all of this? For Eunwoo, the sudden surge must have felt surreal. Overnight, he wasn't just trending. He was dominating conversations usually reserved for the biggest names in global pop. Fans speculated whether he felt grateful, shocked, pressured, or even overwhelmed. Did he check his phone that night and freeze at the sight of his music climbing at a rate no one expected? Did he smile? Did he panic? Did he text Jungkook? Did Jungkook text first? And what about Jungkook? He was probably asleep when the wave hit. Or maybe he wasn't. Maybe he saw the numbers rising and shrugged gently, because this has happened before. Every time he touches a platform, a track, a trend, something shifts. Maybe he thought nothing of it. Maybe he laughed. Maybe he was proud of Eunwoo. Or maybe, just maybe, he was unaware of the chaos he had created. Because that's the paradox of Jungkook. He is casual about everything, but everything changes when he appears. As the night turned into morning, Korean broadcasters began preparing their first official reports. Studio anchors stepped into bright-lit sets, wearing the kind of expressions reserved for political upsets or unexpected stock market surges. Their tone was sober, amused, and slightly bewildered as they explained the situation to the public. A TikTok had caused a national chart phenomenon. Eunwoo was surging. Jungkook was trending. Fandoms were celebrating. Analysts were scratching their heads. One anchor from Arirang News asked the question out loud that millions were thinking. Did Cha Eunwoo just outperform Jungkook thanks to Jungkook? Another responded with a smirk. If anyone could make someone surpass them by appearing together, it's Jungkook. It was half joking, half serious, and completely true. The phrase spread like wildfire across social media. Fans quoted it, meme pages turned it into a punchline, and even international outlets picked up the line for their headlines. But beneath all that noise, an even deeper discussion unfolded, one that touched on identity, value, and the immense pressure idols face when public perception shifts this dramatically. Did Eunwoo worry that people would credit Jungkook more than him? Did Jungkook worry that people might compare them unnecessarily? Did either of them intend for this to become a competition? Or was the media creating a rivalry neither side wanted? No one knew, but the tension made the story even more gripping. Despite all the viral excitement, a strange emotional heaviness settled over some corners of the internet. Not sadness, but a kind of reflective concern, an awareness of how quickly public narratives can spin out of control. Commentators pointed out past instances where idols were pitted against each other, sometimes harmlessly, sometimes destructively. Fans worried whether Eunwoo might feel overshadowed despite the success, or whether Jungkook, might feel misrepresented by headlines framing the moment as a defeat, even when his influence was the very reason it happened. The irony was painful, beautiful, and messy all at once. Two idols simply filmed a dance. The internet turned it into a phenomenon, and the media turned it into a rivalry neither asked for. Yet within that chaos, the world witnessed something undeniably powerful, a reminder that K-pop is not just music. It is culture. It is conversation. It is a living, breathing ecosystem where the smallest interactions can reshape the industry overnight. And the question that now hangs like a glowing sign across the entertainment world is this: if one 12-second clip can do this, what could happen if Jungkook and Eunwoo decide to film again? A sequel? A collaboration, a performance, a behind-the-scenes vlog, a studio session, a duet. One video changed everything. But what comes next could redefine the entire landscape, and as dawn broke across Seoul, one truth stood unshakable. This wasn't the end of the story. This was the beginning.